Hey, Caniacs, and welcome to another episode of the SurgeCast. We are literally a month away from the boys hitting the ice, and we'll be back in our new season with the Canes. But we're super excited for this episode because we'll be joined by the number one Canes podcast co-host, Mike Maniscalco and Shane Willis. How are you doing, guys?
Oh, we're doing great. Thank you.
Yes, amazing. Summer's coming to a close. The weather's starting to cool off, and hockey season's around the corner. What better time of the year could it be than right now?
Where else would you rather be? JJ McCarthy said that before he beat the Bears, unfortunately. But we won't get into that. We're here to talk about hockey today. Segment with our friends over at the CanesCast. Better, worse, or the same. It sounds exactly like what it is. We're going to talk about if you're feeling better, worse, or the same about different areas of the Canes after the offseason compared to last year. Let's start it off with the Canes blue line. Mike, you feeling better, worse, or the same about the Canes defensive core going into the season?
Well, I always think that this is the strength of the team. And there's been nothing this offseason really that has changed for me. I think that there's going to be a little bit of let's see. But that being said, I'm going to say it's the same, even though there's two very new faces, even though we saw one a little bit in the postseason last year and Alexander Nikishin getting a bigger role. You know, anytime you lose veterans like Dmitry Orlov and Brent Burns, and, you know, regardless of what anybody on social media thinks, what they were or how they were in their last few games, they were how they handled themselves off the ice. That's something that Shane and I get to see on a daily basis. And that rubs off on younger players or guys who are coming up or get called up, how you can play with a Brent Burns or watch how he prepared himself for a game. And then Dmitry Orlov, to me, was a consummate professional and a gamer when it came down to it. That said, you get younger, you get a defenseman entering his prime in K'Andre Miller, and you go back to the postseason 2 years ago when the Rangers knocked out the Canes. For my money, K'Andre Miller was the best player on the ice for either team. And, you know, there are things that change. You get paired up with a guy like Adam Fox, and his role has to be different because, you know, Adam Fox, he knows that there's a defensive end. And look, he's won a Norris Trophy, but you're partnered up with him. Fox is going to be the guy who scores. So I like the addition of Miller. I think that this is going to be a Brady Shea 2.0, where he's going to come to Carolina and he's going to excel. And for Alexander Nikishin, I just want to be the one guy to just tell everybody to just calm down and let him become what he is, because everybody is trying to anoint him, you know, this 7 consecutive Norris trophies, which would be phenomenal if he does, but let's just let him play. And the thing is, his size, his maturity, how he can play, and what we've seen in the I know that Shane and I were staying up till 4 a.m. watching the KHL through grainy lenses that seemed like they were filmed off of KGB spy film. But I mean, I like those additions. You get younger, you get bigger, you get more hits, and then of course what stays from what we saw from last year in Slavin and Chatfield and Goss, Despair, and Walker. I love those 4 guys. That would be a good top 4 in any other team in the league, and you're going to mix and match that. I know I've hogged up all the time, Wilbur, but that's just how I feel about the defense. I feel the same, even though it's different. I feel that it's going to be exactly what it's always been. It's going to be the backbone of the team.
So you're staying the same?
Yeah, it's because I don't. It's not like I feel it's going to be better. I already think that the blue line is its strength, and we can say that it's gotten stronger because maybe it's gotten younger or a little bit faster. But at the same time, you know, you're losing out on, and you know this from being around those guys. You lose out on some of those experienced players who've been there and done that, have been through it all. So you're trading, I think, on ice. Excitement, and that's the only word I can come up with when you're talking about younger players and what they can do and how dynamic they can be. For older guys who are like, you know, in a game, they're going to be the ones in the locker room or on a shift going, don't worry about that. Play that off. We'll be fine on the next shift. So that's why I'm going to keep it the same. You can be more excited about it. I'm certainly not a downgrade for me.
Yes, no, definitely not a downgrade. I am going to lean more on the better side, and it's purely because of their age and their youth and their excitement the speed of the game only continues to get faster. And I agree with you. You're going to lose leadership and character inside the locker room with Orlov and Burns going out, but you cannot discount the high skill level and youthful talent that Keandre Miller and Nikishin bring in. And that's what I'm looking for. I think Nikishin settles in and finds a ton more confidence getting into a regular season than being thrown into a playoff game against the Florida Panthers, without a doubt. And I really feel the trade from New York to Carolina affects Keandre Miller the exact same way that it affected Seth Jones in going to Florida. He's now going to play on a very responsible, defensive-minded team with 5 other defensemen that are working in the same direction and not have to worry. It was such a, his partners in New York, he was called upon to do almost everything. And I think he's going to find that support here in Carolina. And I think this defensive core is now better than it was last year moving into game 1.
Yeah, very little. I mean, I was going to lean for better, but there's going to be growing pains, and we've seen that. So there will be an adjustment period for Miller and for Nikishin, but when they figure it out by the end of the year, it might be.
And I think Miller fills a little bit of a leadership role because of how long he's been around. And then I almost look to guys, and we know Rod so well, where he's going to lean on other guys. Jalen Chatfield is now a leader inside that locker room on the back end. Sean Walker signed a long-term deal here, 4-year deal. As he got left going into this season, he's here. You have leadership. You have a veteran presence. Goss's Bear's been around. So I really feel, yes, those guys are great people. And we hear Rod talk about it all the time. The parting words that Brent Burns had for the head coach in this organization, you will miss that. You don't replace that type of person, but I really feel this defensive core still has leadership and has a high skill level that is better as the season kicks off.
Zach, where are you landing? Certainly not worse, correct?
No, definitely not. No, I'm agreeing with Shane. It's definitely gotten better, and I think he touched on it. You're talking about guys who are younger, got more probably offensive upside, and probably got a little bit more of the speed too, because Shane said it perfectly. This game keeps getting a lot faster, and you need that quick step. And you kind of saw it, and nothing against Burns or Orlov, but you can tell that the initial first step wasn't really there as it used to be. And Father Time, unfortunately, catches up to everyone. And plus, we all knew after the season, Burns had surgery, and his role was a little bit more different this past season compared to it was before, because before you had Shea and Pesce as your second pair. So you could have used Burns and Slavin a little bit differently. Now you kind of had to rearrange the deck a little bit to be like, hey, this is what we need you to do. So there was a little bit more extra was put on him. But I think while the numbers weren't there, Burns did have some good games. Orlov did have some good games as well. But then you add in Miller and Nikishin, who have that offensive upside, the youth. And the fact that both guys know how to play defense really well. I mean, you look at Nikishin, he can shoot and throw hip checks and hit at the right time. And with Miller, you're talking about a guy who had 100 hits last year and over 100 block shots. This guy is probably the most physical one of the Canes have had, and he eats pucks. Like, he is going to add a lot more defensive side to his game, and I think people realize, and Mike said it perfectly too. You're looking at a Brady Shea 2.0 type of story, because coming out of New York, everyone's like, oh, Brady Shea's okay, but he wasn't that guy in New York. Comes to Carolina, boom, there's that switch that flips, because it helps too when you got Slavin at the time, Pesce, and all those guys. And also, don't forget, you've got Tim Gleason as your defense coach. Like, that says a lot when you have a former Cup winner as your defensive coach, along with your head coach, Rod Brindamore. That speaks a lot to this team. So I think for the blue line, it's definitely an upgrade. And like in what both guys have said, you are missing a lot out of Burns and Orlov, but you're also getting that very much excitement of what can this defense look like next year, what the 4 you already have, plus the 2 newcomers in their first full season in Carolina. Yeah, there's going to be some growing pains, but I think there's going to be a lot more excitement as the season goes along.
I do just want to jump in, though, because as it was the first weekend of the National Football League, and on social media, nobody overreacts from play to play or quarter to quarter. I just want everybody, if there are those growing pains in October, or adjustment pains, I guess we could call it, I don't want people to sit here and scrap the season because a couple of guys are out of place. And trust me, I'm glad that Richie brought up J.J. McCarthy, because as a Vikings fan, through three quarters, everybody was ready to burn the season down as a Vikings fan, and now they're planning the parade. So I just exercise caution, folks. And
Like we'll have the couch open. The couch will be open early in October.
Oh man.
I know we're gonna
game
the couch
2
is gonna get some work this year, Shane. Just so you know.
You guys better start charging double at this rate if it's going to be that early.
Well, the Bears fan beside me is crying a little on the inside, but we're focused on hockey, and I fully echo what you guys are saying. Again, like people were ready to throw in the towel at the beginning of last season, so I'm sure with some like they're really excited about the start of this one, but those growing pains always hit people a little bit harder when they have high expectations. So, but I fully echo everything that you guys have said. It's we're always going to miss when leadership goes out, but again, you're going to get Miller. You've got the physicality, which is what you were getting from Orlov, but you're going to get a little bit a mix of Shea and Chatty with Miller. You've got the speed, but you've got the physicality. You've got the shot if you need to. And then, everyone's so excited about Nikishin, and he did show what he could do, even, not really knowing the language, not really knowing the system in playoffs. And he had that beautiful pass that made a goal. And that was just like instinct. The guy knows hockey and he knows how to play. You just got to get him into a system and let him learn the new system, which, Rod, we've seen guys come in and very quickly like adapt because Rod just ingrains it with them. And all the guys with them are like, we're all working together. Like you'll notice if you're not catching up because we're all covering you, but we also all know it takes a second because it's such a heavily defensive game we play. So it's definitely, I think, got better because you've got youth, you've got speed. I'm really excited to see what the different pairings are going to be. If we're going to switch it up, of course, we had Ghost and Walker together, but are they going to get split? How is it going to work? Who's going to move up with Slavin? But I'm excited. The defense is never a spot I fully worry about because the Canes, that's just their identity in such a way that while the offense may come and go, our defense is such our backbone. But talking about defense, we might as well talk about better, worse, or the same goaltending situation. We're running things back with our dynamic duo. We'll talk with Shane first. What are your thoughts?
Well, since I'm just going to take the easy way, it's the same two guys, so I'm going to say it's the same situation. You're always looking at the health of Freddie Anderson. We hosted a Q&A with some tremendous supporters a few weeks ago where Eric Tulsky did talk about Frederick Anderson. And he talked about the minor procedure he had done because he was having some knee pain throughout last year. And he actually talked about afterwards through the playoffs that he didn't have it at all. And all the discomfort seemed to be gone. So I think coming into this season, he's in a really, really good position when you talk about health with the things that he's dealt with. And then young Pyotr Kochetkov, I still have a lot of faith in this young guy. I think he continues to grow, and part of his is maturing, right? And every time we see Pyotr go against the best Russian goaltenders in the league, he wins. So it's not a problem there. But he just needs to continue to find that maturity and poise in the net. I think you guys, we're going to just keep going with the football analogies all night long because when you hear the coaches talk about the young quarterbacks, they talk about having poise. And when they're out of control, they're throwing balls everywhere. They're throwing interceptions. And when Pyotr gets rolling and flying left to right into the boards and all around the net, we're in trouble. And I need Pyotr to find that poise and be calm, cool, and collected between the pipes. And we know we're going to see 1-2. You're going to go back and forth. You know Rod Brindamore, and you know way the game's coached now. So I think we're the same, but I definitely still have high expectations for this duo as you go through the season.
Do you think, as a follow-up question, do you think it's going to be a little less chaotic having him with and Nikishin there? Do you think they'll kind of calm each other down, or do you think it could go the other way where, one is a little lost, the other one gets a little lost at times? Or is it going to blend more?
No, from all my experience with Russians, they just lose control.
Okay.
And they enjoy having fun. They act like children, and they're like with their hair on fire. So I expect some dynamic fireworks with both these guys at certain times through the year. I'm sure they're going to have a great time doing it. But I expect a little chaos back there. I'm not sure if Tim Gleason will be completely gray by the end of the season, or if we'll be going to the hair dye for men club, which I might join him eventually anyways. So it's fine.
No, I'm right there. To that end, I'm not going to say that Spetch is the father figure, but he's the older brother. So Spetch will be the one who I think will keep them in line. That's a good question, Kat. Will Nikishin and Kochetkov play off of each other in that relationship? I honestly don't think that that's going to have a huge impact on how they play, because to where I agree with Shane, when you watch Kochetkov, when he's calm and collected and gets locked in, he's shown that he can be as good as anybody. But I also do like that wild hair part of his game. I don't think that you can totally take that away from what he does. It's just you got to harness it. You got to harness in the good, Shane, and block out the bad. And if you can do that, you're fine. The easy answer to this question is it's the same. However, I do like the addition of Caden Primo as the third goalie, and that is no disrespect to Spencer Martin or Dustin Tokarski, because when they stepped in, they gave the Canes a chance to win. That's all you want out of your goaltender on a given night. But Primo's a guy who I think in this role, there's a little bit more upside if it comes down to that. But no, I think it's the same. And everybody is like wringing their hands about this. I'm like, if you take a look at the goaltending tandem, all this team does is finish with 99, 100 plus points. The goaltenders are putting up great numbers. I don't think there's any worry with how the goaltending is going to be outside of the big one. And I hate to bring it up, but it's health. You can't predict what it's going to be. But if these two guys are healthy, there's nothing to really worry about in the regular season with the Canes. And of course, I'll get this one out of the way. And it's really good to say, because it's been the last 3 years, the Canes aren't going to be judged on what they do in 82 games unless they miss the playoffs. Then they'll be judged. They're judged on what they do in game one of the playoffs till whenever that run is over. That's how they're judged now as a team, and in particular the goaltending.
Yeah, I think especially, again, everyone likes to judge our goaltender, especially again when health or, we suddenly go down and we're to our backup of our backup. But I always like to remind people, which you can help remind them on the couch when they come. But if you look around the league, every goaltender goes down at times. Every goaltender, they're like, we need someone else. And I'm like, who are you going to get? Because most of the other big name goaltenders are on other teams for like an extended amount of time. And even them, a lot of them, the defense or the team in front of them wasn't performing. And there was a lot of good goaltenders that didn't even make playoffs. And with our defensive system, we make good to great goaltenders look even better. So it's like, I have a lot of faith in the guys that we have. I'm really excited to see a continual growth in Piotr's game, because again, it's a lot of him calming down, really like, okay, let me get set. Let me not think about that last play that just happened. But, we all love to see him stand up to Marchand from time to time. So we don't want him to lose his fire at all. What about you, Zach? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what these guys have been saying. It's the same, but there is a lot of, the expectations are there, but there's also the excitement because you know what you get out of these guys. And I've been saying all off season, and I know people are probably sick of it, but you look at the numbers, take them with a grain of salt over the last 2 weeks because the team clinched. They are just trying to make sure guys are staying healthy. So when you bring up, their save percentage and their goals against, throw it out the window. It doesn't matter because you saw what they did throughout the whole season. So I'm fine with them. It's just, is Freddie going to stay healthy? That's a big question. But if he's in, he's a top 10 goalie in the entire league. He's absolutely lights out because you look at the last 2 times the Hurricanes made the Eastern Conference Final, Freddie had a sub-2 goals against and a 920 save percentage. He was absolutely lights out. And Piotr, he's won 50 games in the last 2 seasons, and he just had a career year in wins with 27. And that's with Freddie being out. He did the yeoman's work of helping this team along. What are we looking at for a Carolina Hurricanes team if Pierre Kachukov isn't in net doing his thing, helping this team along? And like Shane said, you see him when he's calm, cool, collected, he's dialed in, and Mike said it too. He gets a little wild, but it's kind of fun to watch. And I think last year you kind of saw him try to find that middle ground of being that Freddie poised goalie in the net, calm, cool, collected, but also be that guy who's aggressive on the poke check. You saw that last year of him trying to find that middle. And this offseason, you've seen him on his social media, talking about how I'm trying to, breathing, how I'm trying to like figure that out, like his equipment. Like he's kind of showing you what he does to prepare himself. So I think you're kind of seeing the maturity playing out in real time. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Yeah, Freddie is when he's healthy and he's there the whole time. I think goaltending is in a great spot. And, Mike brought up Keen Primo, great goalie, 21 wins last year with Laval in the AHL. You can't scoff at that. Even Amir Miftakov coming in from the KHL had a really good numbers last year too. That's a good tandem to have in Chicago as your third and fourth in case things get crazy. But overall goaltending, I said it last year, goaltending was never the issue for the Hurricanes. And it's going to be the same thing this year. We talk about the blue line being the backbone of the team. I think goaltending has been the same thing every year. Solid, lights out when everyone's healthy and everyone's doing their thing. This team has no issues. And I think goaltending is not going to be a problem once again because we have the same two guys who bring it every single season when they are dialed in and ready to go and everyone's healthy.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats from breakout rookies to elite QBs and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger the payout. This weekend, Joe Burrow, more or less than 277.5 passing yards. Jared Goff, more or less than 248.5 passing yards. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus bets. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97-777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Good job, Mike and Shane, getting through the first hard question. But I think you guys know what is coming up next. The 2 big questions in town. We got through goaltending, which I feel like will be a little bit better based on just the blue line getting better. Let's talk about 2C, everyone's favorite topic in Raleigh. Are we feeling better, worse, or the same? The Canes not adding anyone in the offseason. So depending on what Rod will do there, whether he keeps KK there, if he moves Stink there, it doesn't sound like he moved Jarvie, but Jarvie may be open to moving himself. How are we feeling about 2C? Mike Maniscalco, your thoughts?
Again, it's the same, and it's the same question. What are you going to get out of that position? Yeah, I mean, it's you would have liked to have seen something a little bit more concrete this offseason to add to that position. Just from the fact that we look at and say, okay, is Jesperi Kotkaniemi going to take that step forward, or is it going to be something else? But I think that when you look at how the Canes play, there have been times, and when you want to go to advanced analytics and metrics, there are times when Jesperi Kotkaniemi is putting up points in the middle, and his line mates are putting up points, and he's the guy in the middle. He just might not be getting the assist, but he is on that line, and it's going that way. Look, I would love to tell you he's going to get 25 goals and 45 assists, and your 2C problem is solved. I don't know that. What I think has to happen with him is he needs to decide on what kind of player he's going to be. And the more I watch him play, the more I see him in that Jordan Staal role of you're not going to put up points, but you're going to be an absolute bitch to play against, shutting down the other team. Their 2C is not going to get anything when he's on the ice. And we've seen that he can be physical, and we can see that he can skate. But when you're the 3rd overall pick and you go to an original 6 team, and then you have all of the offer sheet drama that came around with that, you're expected to be more than that. And he knows it. We get that. But the one thing that I can tell you is going into the season, the Canes have flexibility where if they feel they need to address this, they can. They got the cap space to do it, and they have other things that they can do. But at the same time, what we just talked about with the goaltending, we know what we have with the guys down the middle. And that being said, when Mark Jankowski passes Alexander Ovechkin, I believe in 2035 for the all-time goal scoring list because of the pace he's on in a Carolina Hurricanes uniform, this will all be a foregone conclusion. You're welcome, Shane.
What? I thought you said that was water in your bottle.
No.
He said no, definitely not.
It is the fun question I always love to answer because I always fired back with people because the situation is the same. Yep. Can Jesperi Kotkaniemi be the number 2 guy that everybody wants him to be? That's the question. We'll only know as time will tell when he gets on the ice of where he is. I think Jesperi needs to find confidence. I think he lacks it and the ability to find his scoring touch, playmaking, because there are games you're like, holy cow, who's that guy?
Yep.
And he needs to find it every single night and just build on it, but he just hasn't been able to do it. Still young enough to do it, without a doubt. But I always go back to the big question of like, what this summer, where were you going? Where were you going to find a number 2 center? I mean, teams aren't just going to give him away. Was going to Anaheim and saying, hey, we'll take Mason McTavish for Jesperi. Is that a huge upgrade of getting another, under 6 foot tall centerman who, can get points in the power play? Does he have? Sure, but is that a giant upgrade that you need to make that type of move now? Probably not. And so you still remain patient that Jesperi can come out of the gates flying and get things done in the middle. But I think we're the same. He's great in the locker room. The guys love him. I think everybody in that room would love to see Jesperi explode out of the gate and get a point a game for a while and really find a streak to build on. He just has never had that long, 10, 15 game streak to kind of build to points and everyone start talking. When's the last time this guy's had something great for a long streak? We talk about him and be like, look what Jesperi's doing. Look what Jesperi's doing. It's just a quiet, goes about his business, and he's still continued to search for the confidence in his game. So right now with the number 2C, I'm the same. But I have not given up that he can get there either.
Yeah.
So
I think the last time he went on a streak of sorts, I think it was a couple seasons ago. I think him and Tavo both went on a little bit of a streak, and they were our 2 most consistent players. And everyone was like, oh, these are not our normal, ones that we're like, all right, here we go. Like they're both unlocking. But I think that's the last time. But my 2 points to you guys, like you guys touched on 2 points that I've said a lot, is one, going out to find another 2C. Like you're right, they don't just grow on trees. Teams are going to want a lot for them. There wasn't a lot of options. And you're not just going to go out and spend money on something that's not actually an upgrade just to like try to change something up. Of course, you don't always want to be like, well, wait until next year. But I do want to say like next year is a big open class of a lot of players that are either going to need to stay with their teams or they're going to be available. But the Canes, I mean, the thing with KK is his confidence is I feel like 2 things is he doesn't always have consistent line mates. And that's because some of the players on his wings, like here we had 2 new players. We had Robinson, we had Natchez. Natchez went on a run, but then he was gone, and then Robinson got cold again and he dropped down. So then KK was kind of left like, okay, do I make new chemistry with my new line mates? And I also feel like KK, like you said, Mike, he's a very like stall player. But the thing is, you have Jordan Staal on your team. So it's a guy ready to come into a role that's currently occupied. And
for 2 more years.
Yeah. And I think like if you're wanting that role at a 2C, great. You've got a new Jordan Staal coming right up. But I think a lot of people are wanting a different type of 2C.
Yeah.
So I think
people want the offensive 2C, but
there's one that comes to mind.
Who's that?
He lives in Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, well, yes.
They're gonna be garbage. And I've started sending the text. I've told Tripp to work the lines.
Yeah.
Well, eventually, I'm pretty sure that there's 3 places, maybe 2 only, that guy would go play, and I think one would be for Rod Brindamore. So Sid, I know you listen to the podcast all the time. Probably listens to ours more.
Yeah, but he follows Shane on social media closely.
Yeah, he texts me. He loves the new road jerseys, and I think Crosby would look good on the back of one.
Oh, 87. Yeah, and we can speculate because that's what we're doing now. But to Shane's point, I think that you can go into the season and see where we're at. But what I was driving at is, when Vincent Trocheck wore a Canes uniform, he got points, but he wasn't scoring 30 goals in a Canes uniform. What was he really good at? Winning draws on the penalty kill for one of those units, and he was a good power play player. Like, I think if KK, and Shane, this, if he could just get some apples on the power play, get something going in with a man advantage, that's where maybe the confidence would come in, because now you're going to come in and you're going to look at the score sheets, and you're going to have crooked numbers in the goal category and in the assists category, and that's where you want it. And who cares where they come from? But the thing that I loved about Trocheck when he wore a Canes uniform was you knew that the other team's second line wasn't going to get much on Vincent. So that's where I don't think there's anything wrong with having two Jordan Stalls on your team. I think most teams in the league would sign up for that. But, it's also where the goal's coming from. And a lot of that is, fair or not, going to be pointed to who is that second line center and what that line is going to look like and who it's going to be. Because we know there's plenty of talent now with this team up front to score goals.
I'm not mad if he doesn't score and his line mates do. I'm fine with that. That's a goal either way you count it.
Yeah, I think KK, when he plays well, he plays big and he plays that physical style. So opening night, when the puck hits the ground, as long as he beats the piss out of whoever's beside him on the first shift, then we're off and running. Like, you got to create your own confidence and energy around yourself. You create that aura from a fan base and a media. Just pound people in it. He's freakishly strong. I don't think he understands how big he is.
Yeah.
But I think that's how he should open it up and then just throw everything to the wind. Like, just go.
See, Finns, there are two kinds of Finns that I've encountered. As Shane knows Russians. Finns are either the super nicest human beings on planet Earth, or like they're the people that come out of the forest when it's 8 degrees outside with a wolf around them. And there's Jarkko Ruutu. Tuomo Ruutu had a little bit, even though he's the nicest human being on planet Earth, Tuomo had that edge to him. Mm-hmm. I want to see that out of Jesperi, that edge, that play nasty. And I'm not saying play dirty, but what Shane's saying, he laid some checks in the postseason against the Caps that were good. I'm like, do that.
I might get Ole Jokinen to call him before every game to see him ripping the teams he's coaching over there. I thought he was going to kill those kids in the locker room one day.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. We've got it all figured out. I hope everybody. Thanks for listening to the podcast, to the SurgeCast. Shane and I are going to now go to sleep.
I definitely think I think it was one of the games it was either into the season or into the postseason where he came out right away and started a fight and got everyone.
Whalers night against the Sabres.
And he got it got everyone riled up. And that's the KK I would love to see. There's exactly what you're saying, like coming out, being physical, setting a tone, and really just, if he needs to picture that the guy on the other side of the ice is Seth Jarvis giving him a hard time for the 100th time, and Reddy's like, all right, I'm ready to go, then yeah, I'm down for it. But I do think it's a big confidence for him just to, get some consistency. He was right at the doorstep a lot last season, but he just, a little snake bit, like it would just barely go wide. It would just tip over and you'd just be like, that just hits like that hurt Jarvis when he had the year where he was a little bit snake bit. It hits everyone. So I have high hopes that he can get to where we need him to be and that where he wants to be. Like, he feels that pressure still. So
Zach, quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like what these guys say. It's the same. I think he is the Jordan Staal 2.0, and I think when you look at guys that go beyond the score sheet, so it's like that's what everyone looks at. It's like, all right, what are you doing on the score sheet? What have you done for me recently? Because I know Mike and Shane always talk about that. What have you done for me recently? Because that's when people ask questions about it. But it's what he's doing off the score sheet, like Mike said it. He's physical, throwing some massive hits. Talking about faceoffs. Every year he's been with the Carolina Hurricanes, over 50% of the faceoff dot. When he was in Montreal, not the case. Rod Brind'Amour loves when guys wins faceoffs, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi wins over half of his faceoffs. That's with Aho and Stahl and Jankowski's in there too. Like, you're having a team that basically is always winning faceoffs, and you see their Corsi numbers are through the roof because they have possession all the time. That's why you see the Hurricanes having 35, 40, 45 shots a night, and they're holding the other team to what, 20 at the worst. So it really shows you how possessive this team is, and Jesperi can do that. Yeah, if there was I know Mike, either you or Shane probably said it, if there was a tertiary assist stat, I think Jesperi Kotkaniemi would almost have like 40 points a season, maybe 50, because he's always that guy who set the play up, but just wasn't that secondary assist. So in a world, if there was no Jordan Stahl being there on the 3C, I think KK would be that 3C, and everyone would have no issues with them. But you got a Jordan Stahl there. But like Mike said too, it's not a bad thing to have two Jordan Stahls, and if you have wingers who are scoring, and if KK setting his guys up, and if they're winning possession on faceoffs, there's no really problem there. Yeah, you could have a Vincent Trocheck, but Vincent Trocheck wasn't putting up 60-point seasons, but he was a guy that would get under the skin of a lot of other players, and you get more power plays. So if KK has a little bit of that bite to him that the guys have been talking about, and maybe draws more penalties, then hey, the Hurricanes are on a lot more power plays. So yeah, it's just adding a little bit of that edge to that P and V, and you add that, I think you're putting yourself in a good spot. I think they're the same, but I'm curious to see what KK can do, because like Shane said, he's like 24. He's been in the league since he's 18. That's something that a lot of people have to realize. He's been in the league since he was a teenager with the Canadiens. Like, that's a big ask for a guy to go do that. Now he's with the Carolina Hurricanes and already entering, I don't know what season it is now, like 7 or 8. And he's 24. That's crazy to think of when you talk about Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
Well, appreciate the thought, Zach. Mike and Shane, we'll let you go here in a second. Just 1 or 2 sentences. We'll do better, worse, or the same on the power play with the addition of Nick Ehlers, who we haven't even touched on.
Oh, yeah.
Shane, you want to touch that one?
I have to say better, just because I think the one thing when Nick Ehlers is coming to Carolina, and I think a big reason why, when he took his time and examined the situations, what does a player want to be when he's coming in? He wants to be the trigger man. He wasn't that in Winnipeg, right? You look at the first power play unit, it wasn't all about Nick Ehlers. And so I think coming here, he knows he can be that trigger guy. He's going to get the opportunity to be that guy in the power play. And I'm going to say better. I really hope better. And that they find some really, really good chemistry out of the gates with whoever he's playing with. You'd have to assume Aho and Jarvis. But I think the power play needs to be better, and I think Ehlers makes it better from game 1 on.
I'm going to echo the sentiments of Shane. I'm going to go with better, because you're adding Nick Ehlers to, we'll see how it does play out, but to the top group, I think Keandre Miller or Alexander Nikishin are going to get a shot, and the second group is going to be able to perform, because now you have a lot more talent that is going to be in that second group. Logan Stankoven is going to probably be one of the main guys on, the second power play. As Rod doesn't like to number anything, so that's why when you guys are talking about the 2C or the second pairing of Shea and Pesci, Zach, that you said, I would have been, don't ever say that in front of Rod. As we've learned,
believe me, I won't.
Pairings. But no, I think the power play, just because of the addition of the and we talked about it defensively, what Miller and Nikishin are going to bring to the ice this year. I think the power play is going to be better, because you look at the talent that's going to be there. Stankoven's really going to be comfortable right now. And I think Jackson Blake is going to have a really good sophomore season. Like, I think he's going to build on what he did as a rookie. So I think it'll be better.
Yeah, you already have Ghost on there, and to be able to add those other guys as well, like, you really are spreading the wealth. Whereas I feel like last season we had a unit that would really go well together, and then the other one was kind of hit or miss. But I feel like we definitely are spreading the wealth a little bit more this time. It'll be interesting to see the different talent on each line.
Zach, better, worse, same.
I'd definitely say better, yeah, because you're talking about you're adding Nick Ehlers there. You're looking at
You can't be worse.
You're looking at Aho, Jarvis with him, probably Svechnikov, then Ghost as your top pairing or your top power play unit. Blake, Stankoven, KK, whoever you want to throw on the defense as well. Maybe you have Taylor Hall. Then you throw like Nikisha or Miller there. I think you have two units that could be really good. I know going into December they were top 10. Started the new year, not so much. You've fallen into the 20s, but if you get at least top 15 in your power play and your PK is 1 like it usually is, a top 15 power play will set you up pretty good going into the playoffs. So I think they've definitely gotten better with the talent they have gotten in the offseason. It's just like everything else. There's going to be some growing pains because they're going to figure it out once again, but just let's see how it plays out. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. The power play has gotten better.
We got one more.
No. If we do not, it sounds like it will be overall a better season, even though the Canes performed very well last year.
Now I really want to know what the question was.
Yeah.
Well,
What's the question?
It's the hot topic going around
really.
right now. Well, it's been the hot topic with the fans. Is what are your thoughts? Better, worse, same? The Canes road uniforms with their Stadium Series inspiration, the new whites.
I'm a better, simple better.
Yeah,
I like it.
Better. There we go. I love
the Stadium. I love the Stadium Series jerseys, and now that you can incorporate that on the road, it's a good look. It's a clean look. I'm gonna go better.
Yeah, I mean, 100% better. It's perfect. It's great. It's amazing. And even Doug Werf said it perfectly. It just encapsulates what they want to do, and it's a great look. So,
and I don't go ahead, Shane.
I was going to say, when Stormy's strutting on your shoulder, you're in trouble.
I'm just going to go with more. I don't have to deal with any of the ridiculous comments about who invented diagonal letters to spell words.
Yeah. You copied the Rangers.
It's fine. New Jersey Devils think we copied them now, so you're fine. We got a different one.
Oh, great.
I just wish New Jersey would commit to the full bit and have helmet on their helmets when they wear their special jersey,
or pants on their pants.
When are they going to bring back? When are they going to bring back the red and green?
They do.
Yeah, just go back to that. Just go back to that.
It's okay for a game, but yeah, Christmas time, no. There's a reason why Jersey doesn't wear that anymore.
Well, we can't let everything out of the bag. There's a few surprises this year around the league of what teams are wearing. I don't know why some teams haven't announced yet, but the one jersey that I've been missing, and I don't know if they'll ever bring it back, is the Vancouver V-necks with just the V down, the black.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You want to bring back those terrible sofas from the 70s that were made out of like some fabric you couldn't sit on? Because that's what those jerseys remind me.
Yeah. They got to bring them back. Everyone will buy one.
Not me. I'm not everyone. If they're going to go back to the throwback jersey, go back to their 94 when they lost in the Cup final to
the Flying Skate.
Yes, I love that.
They have that. They have used it recently, so it is kind of back. So, and those are absolutely
the V-neck just is like it should be on the side of a 1970s van where a dude who looks like Timu Matthew McConaughey should be driving.
So we've talked about
all right.
We've talked about the older ones. What are your guys' thoughts on the new the Kraken one with the glow in the dark?
It's pretty sick.
Well, I can't wait till we play a game with the lights off in the rink. What the hell? Who cares?
It's like that new baseball league they play in the dark. Let's play some hockey in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's for that. This is where I know I'm old. So it's like when the guys used to complain about the Oregon Ducks college football jerseys when they had 80 million of them. They're not for me. They're not for. It's like I'm not gonna roll around. It's great for the fans. I think it's a really awesome look. That being said. But because the jersey glows in the dark, it has what impact on the game? Like, I mean, I don't know. It'd be great if the lights go out, Seattle can keep playing. They'll know where everybody is. But
I mean, as much as impact as the V-neck.
But I did work with a couple of guys, and Shane knows this. If you look good, you play better. Like if you look good in the uniform, like if you're like, I like how this looks. You go out, you're excited to play if that's the case. So I don't know. We'll see. It's cool, but like Dallas basically has that with their highlighter black jerseys.
No, those aren't as good.
I know they're not as good, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where
you're right. Yeah. I mean, we just need to get a neon red somewhere in ours.
Red, I guess you can do red that glows in the dark for a fabric. Shane, is this what you're not telling us about?
No, definitely. That was the only jersey release of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of some of the matchups when these teams finally announce what's going on.
Yeah. So that's that.
Oh, breaking news: no glow in the dark jerseys for the Canes this season.
0 glow in the dark.
The only thing I care about with jerseys are, can I read the numbers on the back?
Mm-hmm.
So like when Toronto came out with like this gray on gray jerseys a few years ago, no thank you. Or there's certain thing. Make life better for the broadcasters. That's all I care about for the jerseys. If they glow in the dark, or if they magically turn into different colors, like what was that stuff? Heat gear. I'm older than everybody here. You got to remember, it was like the surf style stuff, Shane. You could put your handprints on it and it would change color.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Mike. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. I'm old.
Oof.
But how about those jerseys? That'd be cool. Huh?
Go ahead.
Maybe Cracker Barrel should have went to a neon sign. Maybe, I don't know.
There you go. We're talking.
Too soon?
Oh.
I think you're right there. But notice they didn't even put the new jersey out there. They just went right back to the retro. We're all going to get hash brown casserole.
Yeah, you can't get scared. You got to follow through.
No, Mike, I felt your pain. I definitely was like, wow, Mike really kills at doing this, because there were definitely times last season when we got Jankowski, and he's 77, and he's a big guy, so there'd be times he'd be out there and they'd just change lines, and I said Stahl, and they were like, no, that's Jankowski, and I was like, okay, well, the 7 and 11, the 7s and the 1s are looking very similar in this quick motion. And then but the worst was there were times where I mistook it for 22, and that size differential is not something I should have been mistaking those numbers for, between Stankoven and Jank.
Stank and Jank.
Now, if you go to Edmonton, where Shane grew up, in beautiful Sylvan Lake in Alberta, I'm better off calling the games here from the press box in Raleigh than in Edmonton, because we're about 8.5 miles away from the ice. Beautiful arena. The press box is great. They do have, Shane, I'll bring you back the topping for the popcorn if you want. They have several different flavors. I don't eat popcorn, but
you need the little
monocle. Smuggle back the flavor for you.
It was the only thing my mom judged the rinks on, was their popcorn.
Yeah. There you go.
Come on, Mike. I'm working the angle still that Shane's on the road this year. That's a slow tweet.
Let me know how I can get you on the road.
It's a battle down
on the plane.
Hey, we'll spread the motion on social media for you, Shane. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get the petition going. We'll
start the fever and a GoFundMe to fund Shane on the road.
Exactly. Or just send it to his Venmo.
We need a catchy
Willis
slogan for it.
Yeah, this is my clip. This is my intro clip to promote the show. Get Shane on the road.
Yeah.
Road tripping with Shane. Roadies with Shane. Why not?
Trust me, I've been keeping costs down, Shane. You should be able to come down.
Well, fellas, we appreciate y'all jumping on. Shane, when you're not on the road, what do you have going on here with the Junior Canes, with the youth hockey going on? What would you like to promote for everyone going on before the season starts?
Well, youth hockey just started, so we're excited. The kids are back in the rink. I actually went and skated last Friday with our Little Lady Canes, which is a young girls program, getting more girls involved. When I came off the ice, like the energy in the building, and my son's older now, he's 17, so parents, they drive themselves to practice. But like coming off the ice, I'm like, could any more parents be coming to watch practice right now? Like even the parents were juiced up, ready to go for I think it was their second practice of the year. But the excitement around has never been, higher for youth hockey in the area. And it's so great to see a bunch of kids moving on to different areas around the country. Obviously, a lot of news coming out. Jackson Williams playing for the U18 U.S. team just about 3 weeks ago now. He's headed to Ottawa to play for the 67. So there's definitely some excitement around, the kids here in Raleigh. And I keep telling everybody, it won't be long. There'll be a kid walk up on that stage, born and raised from Raleigh, North Carolina, putting on a NHL jersey, and we hope it's a Hurricanes one and we get a homegrown kid here.
I love it. Mike, anything going on, or are you just enjoying the next couple of weeks and then getting back into the schedule?
No, I've been starting my homework already and ready for training camp to start. And then we get rolling. 22nd, you get that first preseason game that you can hear on the Hurricanes radio network and on 99.9 The Fan. So I'm just doing that. Drinking plenty of water. It is water. Sorry to disappoint everybody. Sorry, Shane. Even though it seems with some of the comments today, we might go revisionist history on it. But yeah.
And just like when I was in high school, the homework stuff you talk about, make sure you make a couple copies for your bud.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. It's all set. It's all set. I was one of those nerds who like covered my paper. I'm like, if you're gonna be dumb enough to cheat off of me, we'll both get a C. Let's go.
C's get the greens, folks.
Yeah. C's get the greens, baby. Oh man.
Oh, there we go. Make sure y'all are staying hydrated. Make sure y'all check out the Canes. The preseason, regular season coming around is a CanesCast, SurgeCast crossover. Thank you so much, Mike and Shane, for coming on. We'll have you on again sometime, hopefully during the middle of the season. Invite's always there for y'all to come back.
And much like James Bond, CanesCast will return soon. We'll find out who the villain will be, but we'll let you know what the title of the episode is in advance.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys so much.
Everybody.
Thanks, guys.